You walked out of that clinic holding a blood test that came back completely, perfectly normal, yet something inside you refused to believe it. Your nights felt restless, your heartbeat jumped without warning, and your energy kept collapsing halfway through the day, no matter how much you slept. Here's the paradox almost nobody explains to you. The one hiding behind every normal result millions of people over 40 quietly live through daily. Harvard Medical School reveals that only 1% of your body's magnesium ever floats freely inside your bloodstream, where doctors can actually measure it. The remaining 99% stays locked deep inside your bones, muscles, and tissues, invisible to every standard blood test you have ever taken. Your body will defend that visible 1% with almost ruthless precision, sacrificing everything else just to keep that single number looking stable. To protect blood levels, your biology starts quietly withdrawing magnesium from your bones, your muscles, and even the neurons shaping your mood. Think of it as a hidden loan system, one where your body borrows relentlessly from its future just to protect its fragile present. Mayo Clinic calls this process homeostasis, a balancing act so strict that deep cellular deficiency can exist long before any test reveals it. Now here comes an idea that changes everything you thought you understood about what normal health actually means for your body. Biochemist Bruce Ames called it the triage theory, a biological hierarchy deciding exactly which functions survive and which quietly get sacrificed first. When magnesium runs scarce, your body protects survival tasks first, things like your heartbeat, your breathing, and your essential electrical rhythms. But to preserve those essentials, it silently shuts down the luxury programs, the ones responsible for keeping you young instead of merely alive. DNA repair slows down, anti-aging pathways weaken, and your mood stabilizers quietly go offline without a single symptom announcing what's happening. You don't collapse overnight, but you slowly fray at the edges, aging faster not from time, but from years of nutrient rationing. For countless people, this rationing has continued silently for years, never once triggering a warning light on any standard lab report. So when your doctor says your magnesium level is normal, understand this clearly. That number only measures the very last place deficiency shows up. Inside your actual cells, the real story is often far more urgent, shaping your sleep, your stress response, and your heart's rhythm daily. This is exactly why the next 30 days matter, not as another supplement trend, but as a genuine cellular refueling mission worth understanding. Over 3,700 different proteins inside your body depend entirely on magnesium just to function correctly every single day. And once that fuel finally starts returning home, the very first system to breathe again is not your muscles, but your nervous system. That electrical seat of stress, calm, memory, and mood is exactly where magnesium's quiet transformation begins during your very first week. In week 1, the changes are not dramatic, but they feel strangely familiar, like your body finally recognizing something it desperately missed. For a long time, your nervous system has been running slightly too fast, even on days when you genuinely felt exhausted and drained. This constant internal hum often comes from glutamate, your brain's main excitatory signal, which becomes overwhelming without enough magnesium keeping it balanced. When magnesium runs low, glutamate stays active far longer than it should, making your thoughts sharper than comfort and your nights lighter than rest. The National Institutes of Health describes this as mild excitatory stress, something that quietly wears down your resilience over months and years. You might feel it as tension gripping your jaw, a racing mind before sleep, or that sudden jolt waking you right as you drift off. During the first few days of consistent magnesium intake, this exhausting pattern finally begins to soften and quietly loosen its grip. Magnesium attaches directly to GABA receptors, the calming side of your nervous system, helping every signal slow down into a gentler rhythm. You may notice your body relaxing more easily at night, not because you're forcing it, but because the internal noise finally quiets down. Muscles that once felt tight for no obvious reason begin releasing as magnesium pushes excess calcium out of overworked, exhausted muscle fibers. This is exactly why so many people describe their sleep as deeper during week 1, even when the actual hours barely change at all. There's also a subtle but meaningful shift happening quietly within your stress hormones, particularly the one your body releases under sudden tension. Cortisol requires magnesium at every single step of its production and regulation, and without it, cortisol simply stays elevated far too long. As your magnesium intake improves, cortisol slowly begins following its natural curve again, rising each morning and properly falling again each night. The change feels gentle, but you notice it clearly as fewer sudden mood swings and finally a little more room to breathe. Some people also notice their legs growing calmer at night, especially if restless twitching once kept interrupting their sleep before this began. This happens because magnesium helps your nerves fire more smoothly, quietly reducing the random signals that once kept muscles from fully relaxing. Week 1 was never about dramatic transformation. It was about returning your nervous system back to a rhythm it could finally trust again. And once that rhythm settles, your cells become ready for something deeper because your mitochondria are already asking for their own share. By week 2, the changes move beyond your nerves and directly into your cells, especially the tiny powerhouses running every single organ. These mitochondria depend on a small but essential partnership between ATP, your body's energy molecule, and magnesium, the mineral that activates it. Harvard researchers often remind us that ATP isn't truly functional until magnesium locks into place, forming what's known as active magnesium ATP. Without enough magnesium, your cells still technically produce ATP, but much of it remains inactive, like fuel that simply can't reach the engine. This explains why so many people feel exhausted even while sleeping well, eating properly, and genuinely trying their hardest to stay healthy. During week 2, as cellular magnesium rises, more usable ATP becomes available, slowly lifting fatigue that once felt permanent and unshakable. You might notice your mornings feeling steadier, with far fewer sudden energy dips interrupting your focus as the day gradually unfolds. This is also the week when sugar cravings often ease, frequently without you consciously trying to resist them at all anymore. The reason hides in exactly how insulin works, because every time insulin knocks on a cell's door, magnesium is the key that opens it. Insulin receptors rely on an enzyme called tyrosine kinase, one that only fully activates in the presence of adequate cellular magnesium. When magnesium runs low, that door stays half shut. Glucose lingers in the blood, and your body compensates by storing more fat. Mayo Clinic notes that poor insulin sensitivity often begins long before blood sugar itself turns abnormal, making magnesium an invisible weight gain factor. But during week 2, as cellular magnesium replenishes properly, that door finally starts working again, letting glucose move efficiently into your cells. This means less glucose converting into stored fat, more becoming usable clean energy, and cravings finally calming down on their own. You may also notice fewer afternoon crashes, those exhausting moments when hunger and tiredness always seem to arrive together without warning. Instead, your blood sugar starts following a smoother curve, rising and falling with noticeably less volatility throughout your entire day. All of this creates a sense of appetite control that feels completely natural, rather than forced, willpower-driven, or exhausting to maintain. These improvements often feel subtle in the moment, but they're actually signs of a much deeper recalibration happening inside your metabolism. By week 3, an even deeper shift begins, one reaching into your bones, your arteries, and even the supplements you already take. Have you ever taken vitamin D religiously and still felt strangely tired, achy or foggy despite doing everything supposedly right for your health? If you have, you're far from alone, and this exact week finally explains the confusing reason why that kept happening to you. Millions of people swallow vitamin D, believing it will instantly strengthen immunity, lift mood, or protect bones without any additional support needed. Very few realize that vitamin D cannot even activate itself without magnesium quietly doing all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Harvard researchers highlight that vitamin D enters your bloodstream inactive, waiting for your liver and kidneys to convert it into something usable. Both of those crucial conversion steps consume magnesium almost like a fee your body must pay before vitamin D can function. So here's a surprising question worth sitting with. Could the fatigue you blamed entirely on vitamin D actually be hidden magnesium depletion instead? Many people report headaches, anxiety, or heart palpitations after taking high doses of vitamin D, mistaking it for toxicity rather than depletion. This is the twist almost nobody ever hears explained clearly. Vitamin D doesn't simply work alongside magnesium, it works entirely through it. Without enough magnesium, vitamin D behaves like a guest who eats everything in your kitchen and leaves your body genuinely starving afterward. But the story becomes even more important once calcium enters this delicate picture, because calcium goes wherever magnesium quietly directs it to go. When magnesium is sufficient, calcium moves properly into your bones where it belongs, strengthening your skeleton and supporting healthy metabolism naturally. When magnesium runs low, calcium becomes unpredictable, drifting into soft tissues, arteries, or even forming tiny painful stones inside your kidneys. Have you ever wondered how someone can have genuinely weak bones while simultaneously developing dangerous calcification inside their arteries at the same time? Mayo Clinic calls this the calcification paradox, a strange condition where your bones lose calcium while your blood vessels quietly collect it instead. Week 3 is when this entire triangle finally starts working correctly again. Magnesium guiding vitamin D guiding calcium properly. This is often the week people feel their joints loosen, their heartbeat calm down, and their muscles move with noticeably less stiffness. If you've ever taken supplements religiously and felt like absolutely nothing changed, this might be the missing link you never knew existed. By week 4, something remarkable begins happening beneath the surface, a genuine shift away from survival mode toward long overdue maintenance work. Magnesium is no longer being used just to calm nerves or steady energy. Your body finally has enough for postponed repair tasks. This repair begins inside every single cell, where enzymes called DNA polymerases constantly correct damage caused by stress, aging, and daily exposures. Harvard biochemists note these enzymes require magnesium to attach correct nucleotides while carefully rebuilding your genetic code piece by piece. Without adequate magnesium, these vital repairs slow down significantly, allowing tiny errors to silently accumulate inside your cells over time. These errors won't destroy you overnight, but they gradually shape how quickly you age and how resilient your cells remain long-term. During week 4, as magnesium sufficiency reaches deeper tissues, these repair enzymes finally start working again with renewed, remarkable precision. The results are often subtle yet meaningful, showing up as steadier mood, fewer unexplained aches, and noticeably greater mental clarity throughout your day. Your brain especially begins responding to this renewed magnesium supply, particularly through one specific form worth knowing about by name. Magnesium L-threonate is known for crossing the blood-brain barrier more efficiently than other forms, reaching places most supplements simply cannot. This allows it to support synaptic density, the actual number of connections between neurons inside regions linked directly to memory and learning. Researchers at MIT have shown that increased brain magnesium levels correlate directly with enhanced neuroplasticity and improved cognitive flexibility over time. You may feel this as easier concentration, quicker recall, or a gradual lifting of brain fog you would almost accept it as permanent. But the benefits ripple even further, reaching your gut where nearly 90% of your body's serotonin actually gets synthesized daily. Magnesium supports enzymes along the gut-brain axis, helping mood-regulating pathways function far more smoothly than they could before this month began. This is why many people describe week 4 as a genuine mental reset, where thoughts feel clearer and emotions feel more grounded. Your sleep may deepen even further, not just from calmer nerves, but because your circadian rhythm stabilizes as cellular stress finally declines. Even cravings shift during this final week, since improved insulin sensitivity reduces the sudden glucose swings that once dictated your appetite completely. By now, magnesium is no longer simply another supplement. It has quietly become part of your internal rhythm, supporting struggling systems everywhere. With these foundations finally restored, one powerful question remains: how do you maintain these gains long after the first 30 days end? Reaching day 30 doesn't feel like finishing a challenge. It feels more like discovering how your body behaves when properly fueled. The next step is understanding how to maintain these changes so they become permanent rhythm rather than a temporary, fleeting improvement. That begins with choosing the specific form of magnesium that naturally fits the way your unique day actually unfolds and flows. In the morning, your cells respond best to magnesium malate, a form supporting energy production without overstimulating your already active nervous system. At night, magnesium glycinate works far more gently, helping your brain settle its electrical signals so sleep arrives with much less resistance. For memory, learning, and long-term cognitive health, magnesium L-threonate remains the form most capable of actually entering deep brain tissue. These aren't strict, unbreakable rules, but quiet, intelligent adjustments allowing magnesium to serve you exactly where you personally need it most. Yet even the most effective form will struggle if daily habits keep pulling magnesium away faster than you can possibly replace it. Caffeine, for example, pushes your kidneys to release more magnesium, which is why coffee and supplements taken too close often dull results. Spacing them apart by an hour or two allows magnesium to fully absorb before the stimulant significantly increases its natural loss. Foods rich in phytic acid also bind minerals inside your gut, so soaking or sprouting grains and legumes genuinely helps reduce interference. And because chronic stress consumes magnesium rapidly, calming your mind for even a few minutes daily protects the supply you've worked hard rebuilding. These small, consistent adjustments make the real difference between magnesium acting like a monthly experiment and becoming a genuine long-term foundation. As these habits settle naturally into place, the improvements from the past 4 weeks start feeling less like surprises and more permanent. Your sleep remains deeper, your metabolism stays steadier, and your thoughts stay clearer. Not from anything dramatic, but from consistent cellular support. And this brings us to the quiet truth behind the question that brought you here in the first place today. What really happens when you take magnesium consistently for 30 full days without missing a single one along the way? You experience not one single transformation, but a complete shift in how your entire system manages stress, energy, focus, and recovery. You feel yourself gradually returning to a version of health your body always remembered but could never fully reach without this mineral.